Hi everyone and welcome back to our channel. After spending 3 amazing nights on the island of Naxos, it was time to go to Mykonos for one night and we took a 40-minute ferry ride to the island. Hello from Mykonos. After a very hectic ferry ride with strong waves and we were late also by 40 minutes, we finally made it to Mykonos and we picked a place that's really close to the new port. The old port. So with the ferry, we arrived at the new port, but then we have to take a sea bus that costs €2 that goes from the new port to the old port. And so now we're in Mykonos town. I'm just gonna show you a room. It's small, but I think that's all you need, and the location is amazing, close to Little Venice. So this is the room. Cute decoration. So this is the bathroom. So most places in Greece actually have a very similar style and decoration. And then this is the sink. And so I think we're gonna go out and check out the windmills of Mykonos. And this is the view outside our window. So that's a church. We just arrived in Mykonos and already you can see that there's a lot of cruise ships here because there's so many tours at every corner and the alleys are quite narrow, so sometimes it does feel claustrophobic, just like Santorini. It was actually a really short walk between a hotel room and the windmills of Mykonos. However, we walked by plenty of shops, beautiful blue doors and bougainvillas where people were taking pictures, and tons of restaurants. In order to get to the windmills, you do have to walk by all these restaurants. The views were pretty amazing from that angle, although you will have to pay for the drinks and the food because it was pricey. However, right next to the windmill, there is a small beach where you can sit down and watch the sunset, so this is what we did later on. As you can see, the winds were strong and the waves were choppy, so I'm glad I didn't book any boat trips. Afterwards, we realized we were too hungry to keep going, so we went back to the old town, walked around and found a gyros restaurant. It was very busy because it did serve one of the most affordable gyros on the whole island of Mykonos. So we're finally here at the famous windmills of Mykonos. I don't know if you can hear me, but it's also very windy here. So one of the main things to do here in Mykonos is to look at the windmills, go to Little Venice, which we already did. I think do some high-end shopping because we even saw a Louis Vuitton store, and then beach hopping. Towards the end of the afternoon and just before the sunset, we went to check out the Mykonos castle and the old ruins since it was so close to our hotel. Not much has survived unfortunately, but there was a map showing what it used to be back in the days. And finally, it was time for the sunset, and Mykonos is well known for having amazing sunsets. We went back to the little beach next to the windmills, and so did everyone else because it was very busy, but it was definitely a gorgeous sunset, although it was very windy, so make sure you're dressed properly. So after the sunset, it's time for dinner. So restaurants in Mykonos are not cheap, especially when you compare this island to other cheaper islands like Naxos, but we found this great little restaurant that had good food and we had good lamb chops and it was still affordable by Mykonos standards. So there isn't much to do in Mykonos after the sunset and dinner other than clubbing and shopping. And since we're not into clubs, then the second option was to walk around and shop. Fortunately, if you're a cat lover, then there's also plenty of cats in Mykonos around dinner time because they are hungry. Good morning, it is 8:30 now in Mykonos. We did wake up much earlier, but apparently bakeries do not open until 8:30, and so we're gonna get some breakfast. As you can see, it's still very windy, and I think there's three cruise ships that are docked today, so we're gonna get some breakfast and then bring it back to our room. Because it's so early, we haven't found a lot of people in the streets, which is actually a good thing. Ooh, it's windy. So here are the cruise ships behind me. I don't know if you can hear me. And then the windmills are actually in front of me. So these are the windmills, and all of these are restaurants. So this is what the place looks like at 8:30 in the morning. It's not too crowded, but there's already a few bus tours. And again, there's some cruise ships in the back. And I'm just gonna go take some pictures of the windmills with less people. As you can see, it is very quiet in the morning. Most tourists that come from the cruise ships haven't set foot yet, and a lot of people that were clubbing the night before obviously are not awake yet. After breakfast, we decided to walk around the old town again because there were some areas that we hadn't visited, and honestly, it was too cold and windy in October for us to go beach hopping. So we are here in the area around the old port. I find that compared to other islands in Greece, there's probably less things to do here, unless you really like to go clubbing or go to the beach. But yeah, so later today we're going to take a ferry and we're going to Athens. So I'm pretty excited to go visit Athens because it is the birthplace of democracy. So this is how we spend 24 hours in Mykonos, and in the next video we'll show you everything that we visited in the beautiful city of Athens.